Welcome to Beyond the Threshold. I'm your host, Louisa Seaton. Beyond the Threshold is a space for conversations that explore and challenge our understanding of life, death, consciousness, and what may lie beyond. Together with my guests, we journey into their extraordinary stories and have thoughtful conversations that expand our perspective on reality and the human experience. I would love to welcome Elma Pollard. She's a life coach and couples coach, and she runs a medical organization in South Africa and is a mother of 3. Welcome to the show, Elma. We are really excited to have you.
Hi, Louisa. It's awesome to be with you today.
So Elma had a NDE experience, and I've invited her on the show because I would just love to hear how it unfolded. Could you explain to our viewers your story?
Sure. So it was 2014 and I had fallen into a depression, and having previously had 1 or 2 other major depressions and always resorting to medication, and then they always seem to come back again after a while whenever things were very stressful, basically. I got the distinct feeling that I need to try something different because I don't want recurring major depressions whenever things are really, really bad in my life. And that's why I then decided I'm going to do a ayahuasca journey. I was looking for a permanent shift that would shift me out of a tendency of getting overwhelmed to the extent that I need medical care. So I went to the Circle, Cape Town, and before I went there, I filled in all the details, and it said there's certain contraindications. And I think major depression was also one of them, but there were a couple of things, a couple of red flags that I was unsure whether I could now do this. And so basically, I decided to do the journey instead of medication, and I wasn't sure whether it would be good for me, but I left it to the shaman to decide because we were supposed to have one-on-one sessions beforehand, which didn't happen. So I explained when it came to my turn that I wanted just a tiny little bit because I'm super sensitive. That I know. I'm a highly sensitive person and my body is very sensitive to medications and lots of other things. So I took the tiniest little bit, and I heard people starting to be sick around, and we all have our buckets, and I thought, let me just quickly check that my bucket is next to me. So I kind of sat up to look, and I passed out. And I actually fell on my friend next to me. And my heart stopped.
Wow.
It was a medical emergency. They couldn't find any pulse. And it was a huge drama in this big, beautiful space. Yeah, now this thing happens. And I was completely aware of everything, but I also realized that I can't breathe and I can't talk. And still I was sitting in this incredible compassion. I was thinking, shame, these poor people now. I hear them panicking and should we call the ambulance? No, because it's not 100% legal or whatever. There's panic around this thing. And I'm feeling so sorry for everyone around me. But I don't know how you can't, if your heart's not beating, you can't breathe. It's amazing. I became aware of the importance of this pump here that makes everything move. So off I went, and I'm hanging out in a beautiful space, very loving, absolutely embracing, no panic from my side at all, but I'm out, and I'm aware now that I'm out, and I feel bad about it, really. I didn't want this type of thing to happen. I don't like attention on me as it is, hey? And I'm thinking of my children immediately, particularly my sons. and particularly one son. I thought, oh, if I had to die here now, my son is going to be so angry. Imagine your mother popping off in an ayahuasca journey now. What a crazy thing for me to do. And he's not into this type of stuff anyway. So I cannot now be on this journey out. So I kind of said to the light, to source, to this beautiful, loving energy, I said, well, I have to go back. I can't go now, My children still need me. And it said, well, okay, if you need to go back, then you can go back. So I said, but I can't breathe. How can I get back into my body if there's no breath possible, And it gave me an image of the globe. Now, I've been an environmentalist my entire adult life, so very active. The globe is a big, big symbol of mine. My name even means, Elma is Mother Earth. It's the meaning of it here.
Beautiful.
God is Earth, actually. So it's been the top passion of my life has been this. And here I'm seeing this globe. And the globe is, all the continents are outlined with multicolored lights. That was so, so beautiful. And it said, breathe the globe. And so I thought, okay, that's really fun. And so I looked at this globe, and the earth, breathed me back into my body. Literally, it gave me breath in and it gave me breath out, long breaths in and out, and the whole thing would come into my body, and as I breathe out of my body again. So it was the weirdest experience, but I was literally breathed back into my body by Mother Earth, I would say.
Beautiful.
That was my experience, because I could not breathe. It was impossible for me to breathe. But there was this process of breathing me back into my body.
Wow.
And it just literally worked. And I found myself back in my body. It was a beautiful space on the other side. It wasn't like I didn't want to be there, but I had my kids to think of, and also the youngsters panicking around me. It was basically compassion that brought me back. I wasn't going to do this to them and to my children. I had to come back for this, see. And that's pretty much a short journey. However, it completely changed me. Because firstly, I'm here by choice.
Yeah.
Most people just find themselves here. And do you know that the depression was instantly gone?
Wow.
Absolutely vanished. Completely gone. And also, I have to say, I'm totally cured from the tendency of getting depressed. I've been through hectic stuff since then. I don't go there anymore. It has completely shifted me, which was, it's just such an incredible blessing. I am definitely a different person. And way, way more resilient is what I would say. Obviously more spiritual, even more connected. I mean, I lost both my exes in 2023 suddenly, just died from heart attacks. And I've had long conversations with them. I'm connected to the other side now and it's really, really beautiful. I mean, I got healings with both of them because I was divorced from both of them. So all the issues were unpacked and resolved and healed, and it's really beautiful. So, I know the shaman actually said to me afterwards that I never fully incarnated. I'm 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in the other world. Which might be so, but I mean, even if it wasn't so before this experience, it is certainly the case now. There is obviously no fear of death whatsoever. And not that I actually ever fear death, I have to say. I never understand why people fear death. And I've been like a mystic my whole life, really. I've always been very spiritual and very connected to nature. Obviously, I'm also a trained shaman myself, so I am a connected person.
Yeah.
And then, strangely, how the earth then decided, right, I'll bring you back. The other interesting thing is that very child that was my top call back. 2 years after that, his kidneys failed.
God.
We found out he had end-stage kidney failure. And so, I mean, he was on the brink of death for 2 years, and then I was able to give him a kidney.
Wow.
So then I thought, oh, I understand now why I had to come back, because I still needed to pass a kidney on to my son. And so that saved his life. Unfortunately, it's collapsed again, so he's hopefully going to get another kidney this year. But yeah, I also have the other two children are on the spectrum and very, very much need me. I've made, I try to say, no, I need to last, seeing that the dads have both gone, So it's a short experience, but it was a profound experience. It's quite different to what I hear other people have, but it completely changed me.
Yeah.
It was very, very healing on so many different levels.
And they always do. I think a lot of people, or majority of people, I haven't really heard any ND stories where someone's come back and it's just been the most horrific experience. It's a very, very positive one, and a lot of NDers have special gifts or abilities when they return as well, or their abilities are enhanced.
Absolutely.
And I feel like the wisdom that's imparted as well while they're on the other side is just incredible. So I just wanted to ask you a question. When you were in the ceremony and you said your heart stopped and you went to this other space, I should say, were you still aware of what was happening around you at the same time?
Yes, I was, because I was like up on the ceiling kind of thing. I was out there and I could see the whole thing happening. And I saw them, they took a tuning fork and they were like tapping me with a tuning fork, so I'm just desperate to get my heart to start up again. And so I was aware, and I tried to talk to them, actually. They said my lips were moving. So I was trying to say to them, don't worry, I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to come back. I'm just trying to figure this out. But because there's no breath, there's no sound either. So they couldn't hear anything. They just saw my lips going. So I was trying to comfort them and at the same time still, It's quite weird. It's so typical of myself that.
Were you, you were aware of them, but were you aware of them from above? Had you actually come out of your body, or were you?
I was out of my body. I was seeing the thing from above.
Wow.
But I was also aware of my body. I was literally in two spaces, I would say. I was aware that my body is now almost like paralyzed. Nothing is moving, because this lasted for about 15 minutes. It sounds like a very short time, but I was completely out, and worried that I'm disrupting this whole ceremony here, which is why I went up to have a discussion that side to say, hang on a sec, can we just not do this now, So it's funny how one can be at the same time in two places. In fact, we can be at the same time everywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it? But I didn't have power in my body, so I could not move my body or speak,
Yeah.
And that's quite a weird feeling, because now you are in full surrender, aren't you? Now there's like nothing you cannot personally do, but you are completely handed over to grace. And so then you can communicate with grace,
Yeah.
And it's all unconditional love. And especially, I think, if you go in a space of love, I think it kind of, my feeling of near-death experiences and death as such is that you leave on the level of who you are as a person. If you have a big open heart and a lot of love, you're going to be moving on that.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important also how you die. You know, you need to do your spiritual work so that you leave on a good space. Obviously, ultimately, everybody will fall into love because that's what the other side is entirely. But I think people who are very anxious and judgmental and in dark spaces will probably leave with that first and then get to the space of grace after a bit. You know?
Yeah.
So I think doing one's spiritual work and opening the heart and falling in love with life and everything is so important.
Yeah, very important. And I've also heard, you know, when I've listened to a lot of NDEs that you don't, at the moment of death, you don't actually feel pain or injury or anything. It's like which you imagine that if you're, for example, in a car crash or you're being murdered or whatever it is, as soon as you die, it's just complete peace, which is such a beautiful thing to feel. So
in fact, my understanding is that you jump out just before the impact. You actually don't feel that terrible thing.
Yeah.
Because your body has this defense mechanism. It will take your spirit out before the terrible thing happens.
Yeah.
So, you know, there is just 100% nothing to fear.
Exactly.
Because our soul knows when to move over. And also the angels come to fetch you at that point, you know.
Yeah.
So that for me is so beautiful. And I've also been watching NDEs for years and years, you know, because now suddenly it's an industry that I kind of understand. And I think it's an enormous blessing. It's an enormous blessing. And I think it happens when on some level one asks for it.
Yeah.
You know, because I did also, as you know, I did know that there's some danger here for me. So I had an awareness that something big was going to happen, but I was still encouraged to go. So things happen as they should.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the case. And at the same time, I also do think that people need to be careful of ceremonies, you know.
Yeah.
And very sensitive bodies, and we just have to listen to our own intuition always.
100%.
Not be persuaded by people on the outside, like how much you must take or what you must do, because our inner guidance is meant for us personally, and that's the important voice to listen to.
And I feel that people, you know, must discern whether something is right for you or not. Especially when they are taking substances, whatever they may be, ayahuasca, bufa, whatever it is. You are a sovereign being and you have the right to say no. And so it's definitely,
And you know, for me, working in medicine as well as a life coach and everything, that's the crux of really what I teach is listen to your body. Honestly, listen to your own intuition. Because that's not what we were taught. We're always trying to do what is expected or what other people suggest. And particularly women, we always look for permission to listen to our intuition. Somehow, we always need confirmation on the outside. That's where we go wrong. Because then inevitably we lose the plot there, you know?
Yeah, or we presume that others know better when really we should trust ourselves.
Yeah. Self-doubt is the top problem of women.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my 30 years experience as a life coach.
Yeah.
Somehow we always have to question ourselves. And yet we are the wisest ones. Really, we have the strongest intuition. We are so blessed with that. But we don't appreciate it properly. We just don't trust it properly, you know?
And a lot of us are not taught to trust our intuition either.
Certainly. I mean, that's kind of part of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
You think you are second rate and you don't really know stuff. And, you know, you need to usually ask a man, you know? And that's not wise.
So I wanted to ask you, when we were talking before, you mentioned that you accompanied your brother across to the other side. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was actually basically a 10-year journey because my brother, by my knowledge, and I am trained in neurodivergence, was also on the spectrum. But society expects people, all adults, to be able to be independent and live on their own. That's just how the world is. You know, you come 18 or 21 and off you go now. You've got to be on your own feet, which is not relevant to neurodivergent or many neurodivergent people. Most actually need their families. So I found him in his house 10 years before and discovered that he's completely not coping at all. It was a horrific scene. And I moved him to a place of care and became his emotional support system. And he had never really, his wife died long ago from cancer, and he never really recovered from that, and he never really managed to live on his own, to look after himself. So he had physical care, and he had lots of problems with that, and I was always intervening, or he was always calling me and so on. So I feel it was actually a long process of kind of healing his sense of abandonment that he'd had for so long, and showing unconditional love despite serious mood disorders, dementia, the whole works. It was a process of getting him to a space where he was ready to go, you know. And then it was very, very, very peaceful. His daughter and I were there with him. And in the process, it was also a healing between her and her dad, because they had also had a really bad relationship, because he was a very difficult man, really. So I kind of was working with their relationship and him inside, just to get him to get into space where he understands unconditional love on this side, so that he could also feel ready to go to the other side. And in the end, he went to hospital he was a diabetic, for a blood sugar collapsing, and then picked up a German hospital, which happens so often, and he actually then died from that. But we were with him, and it was peaceful, and I was just holding him in the space, and his daughter, us on either side of the bed. I was also with his wife when she died. I was the only one with her, and helped her to the other side. I just feel holding the space in love and in peace, so that there's no fear, and that the people are not alone, so that they feel safe to move. And so obviously saying the right things as well, you know. Is this something that I've intuitively done many times, you know. I think if one is with a person dying, with yourself in a space of peace about it, and not scared of death yourself, you know, that's important. I think you can only accompany a person if you are not scared.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that was supportive, because it was absolutely peaceful. It just, you know, after about an hour, stopped breathing, and that was it, you know. So, and then I could, of course, organize a really beautiful memorial service for him. And yeah, it was all lovely. Beautiful closure at the end. Supporting his daughter is now important to me. She then happened to lose her husband 12 days later too.
Oh my God.
So that was an incredible time. Yeah. So yeah, it's part of, I think death is so part of life. I think we've almost demonized it in the West. We make it something really bad, And in nature, it's like, here we go, here we come, oh, we're coming again, in and out we come, you know. It's just life. The tree drops the dead leaves when they no longer serve, and now starts growing new leaves. And in nature, there is surrender to the tides and the seasons. And I think for us, that's also important. And there's a lot of death at the moment. I don't know if you find that there as well. There's a big exodus, I think, since COVID.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah. And now with climate change and all the droughts, fires and heat domes and so on, I'm very aware. Of course, I've worked in that field for a long time. It is a dangerous time, but that doesn't mean that you need to panic now. No.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we must change how we live very much. We do need to get off fossil fuels and practice passive cooling of our houses, not air conditioning. That's just creating more of the problem. But there's still not anything to fear, really. If it's a time to go, it's going to be gentle and beautiful.
Yeah, I find it so interesting that death is perceived as something to fear when every single person has to go through this rite of passage of dying. And, everyone is born, and it's kind of like you're born and then you die, and it's just so natural. But I love the way that Eastern cultures really embrace death. And, a lot of the tribal cultures as well. And I just find that the Western world just has this really bizarre fear that I don't feel I have that within me. I don't feel that death is a bad thing. I feel like it's just the cycle. And in fact, I actually feel like we're going home. And so...
Absolutely. So actually, it's the other way around. I think being born is quite scary. I mean, that is a hectic thing. That's the hard part. Is coming here, and it's not easy here. It is a challenging place to be. The happy place, the soothing and loving place, is on the other side. So why do we fear that instead of fearing this? And neither do we want to fear this either, because we always get what we need to cope somehow. Answers present themselves, and we're made to be resilient. And if we live in more surrender, I feel, you live in more grace, and you don't panic about things. You know the answers will be there, even when things are brutal. I mean, I've been through lots of really brutal things, but you move through. You never get stuck there. You just need to know that tomorrow is another day and things are going to look better again, and you'll find other ideas or other people come across your path. It's a wheel that's always turning. So not to worry about the very moment. Just embrace and love yourself through it,
Yes. So I wanted to ask you, after you had your experience, you felt a lot more connected to the other side. Like, did you feel like the veil was thinner? Because you did mention that your two ex-partners that have passed on, you have quite a connection with them. Can you explain that further?
Well, yes, I didn't expect that, because we didn't have a death in the family until 2023, until the one died, which was a huge shock because they were my age and younger, my ex-husbands. And then a month and a half later, the other one also. So in the family, it was huge, very, very strange thing to happen. But I immediately felt, I was called immediately when my first husband died. And I just immediately felt that he's there and that I can communicate with him. And that I could that he could talk to me about whatever he was not concerned about and whatever else, and that he was in my head. We had wonderful things happen, like certain birds that would come. He visits in pigeons particularly. The other one visits in a tiny little Cape white-eye bird. So we know, they're around. He's butterflies, all sorts of things. So I first kind of thought, no, this is weird. And then I realized, well, this is in my head from somewhere. It's not normally there. So I decided to just trust it. And that was wonderful because you know that on the other side, you go through your kind of life review. And what then happened was with both of them, I joined them for their life review with regards to their marriages to me. So I was there in that process, and we did that interactively. And I just went through all those brutal and good experiences, because, you experience things from the other side if you're in a life review. You experience how other people experienced you, or your actions and whatever else. So I had to go through that again with them, and then there was opportunity for us to make it right, for apologies and understanding and explanations and, just all the things that we could never say to each other this side then became possible. And it was a really beautiful experience, an absolute closure,
So
an altar in my house for both of them where there's always a light shining, and, that we honor them. And it's really lovely. Yeah. Also, I said to both of them, look, guys, now you leave me alone with this. You got to help me now. Maybe you can help me better now from where you are, which is exactly what the case is. I've got a lot more support now than I ever had, which is beautiful, always available.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, so when you said you joined them for their life review, how did that happen? Did that happen in a dream? Like how were you able to be part of that?
I can just focus on them. I really just shut my eyes and be quiet. Yeah. And then the communication happens, So I just remain with that. If I hear they need to talk about something, I will just go quiet and go and sit somewhere and allow the conversation to unfold. And it's inevitably beautiful and healing, really. Because as soon as they cross over, they are in unconditional love.
Yes.
So that which you wanted them to be in on this side, suddenly they are in it. And suddenly they can see 360 degrees. They can now see everything they couldn't see when they were here.
Yeah.
So suddenly you have this higher being that you can communicate with, which is really awesome. It's such a healing thing to do, I found. I'd never heard of this before.
Yeah.
But it just is what unfolded for us. First the one, and then the other one, the same thing. And I had to go along with it until they had it was finished. And then it stopped. It's gone. Now they are on their journey that way. I can still connect if there's something specific that I want them to help me with. I can. But most of the time, I leave them in peace now, They're moving on to the next things,
So with the life review of them, this was soon after they had passed away, you would go into like a meditative state and be able to connect, and things that came up were issues that you had between them and between you.
I literally went through
them.
All the pain that I experienced in those marriages, all of it again, which was brutal.
Yeah.
But with them present and holding the space and understanding for the first time, and then having an opportunity to apologize, which was really gorgeous. It's what one needs, and you don't normally get it on this side, So it was beautiful. It was pressed onto me to be present for that. I couldn't avoid it. I was obviously in mourning as well, very much so.
Yeah.
And I think in that vulnerable space, it's also easier to be emotionally present.
Yes.
And your life stops when you are in mourning anyway. So you are kind of more on the other side than this side, I would say, when people have died. If you don't push that away and you take time for that, I mean, I think that's another thing that we have lost in the West. We don't mourn properly, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to honor that process and to understand that's actually a time when you are intimately together with those people that you love, and that unfinished business can be done at that point, and a co-healing can occur at that point, both ways, you know? Especially when it's, you know, a marriage that ended in divorce.
Yes.
There's always a lot of pain that just gets left at some point, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that can all be sorted out afterwards.
Do you feel like your dreams are quite vivid? Do you have?
You know, I don't remember a lot of dreams. I actually don't. I do remember some, but I won't say that I'm a regular every night vivid dreamer. When I do remember them, they're vivid. But it's actually not such a common thing for me.
Yeah. And so with having gone through what you went through, how do you feel that you walk through life now? Like you mentioned that your depression has never come back, which is absolutely amazing, and I'm happy for you. What else do you find is different apart from the way you observe death?
I think I am certainly a much more peaceful person inside. I think with the depression, I lost the anxiety as well. I mean, they kind of run together very much, not so. But I think I live a lot more in surrender. I'm very keen on the word surrender.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, stop thinking you have to organize everything and you have to find all the answers and you have to fix everything. No, we are not that huge, you know. We are a tiny little grain of sand, and there's lots going on. And you know, I am not so much into you need to fix everything and everything is up to you anymore. There needs to be enough humility as well for there to be enough peace as well. And it doesn't mean you surrender responsibility. I am, after all, an activist and I do lots of things, you know. It's just that I can maintain a level of peace, which is so important for health and for the health of the people around you. I think we need to be a center of grace.
Yes.
Because grace is what is, the other side is grace, you know. So you can keep some of that on this side and have that bridge. That can bring our world a little bit back to the fact that we are not alone and that we aren't, you know, we don't have to sort absolutely everything out ourselves. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I often feel like I've got my team of angels and, you know, my guides all around me all the time. I really do feel that.
I talk to my guides, and in part of my team now is also my family, my ancestors. I've got them also in my team, and my exes, you know.
Yeah.
So I just have an awesome team, and that's basically, I rely a lot on that, you know, not so much on me. I'm not the center of the universe, you know.
Yeah. And I presume that through everything that you've gone through, as well as, you know, the death of your ex-partners and stuff, that there is a lot of trust in a higher power, basically, or the universe.
The trust is incredibly important. I mean, literally, when I donated a kidney to my son, I had very serious complications. I got a deep vein thrombosis.
Wow.
And I had so many blood clots in my lungs that I couldn't count them. Now, one clot can kill you. And I was just in grace. I was just in gratitude that my son was going to live. And it was a supernatural space that I was in. And I think it's the only reason why I survived that, because I was in a space of grace. And you can remain in your body then through hectic stuff,
Yeah.
And then I got very bad asthma from that, and I cannot take any asthma medications. My body hates pharmaceutical medications and so on. So I need to travel on a different vibration, also to stay on the side,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds, you can see it as a hell of a challenge, or you can see it as a massive blessing.
Yes.
And it is sometimes challenging, obviously, but I think the attitude is everything,
Yeah. What do your family think of your experience?
Yeah, my kids know about it. I think it's a bit scary for them to think that my heart stops there, so I don't actually talk about it much, I don't want to scare them, especially as I'm the only parent left, you don't want to go on about that too much, but everyone saw the difference in me for sure.
Yeah, which is
definitely. It's a strange thing how it made me a lot more resilient in life.
Yes.
And that's a word that I use a lot in my coaching. I also call myself a resilience coach. That no matter what happens, you can actually be okay.
Yeah, and you will get.
It doesn't mean that life must give you things easy for you to be okay. And I'm saying okay, I'm not saying abundance and all those excessive pronouns that I think is over the top. It's just greed, all of that. It's like good enough is good enough, and having life, you're already blessed. If you have breath in your lungs and you can breathe, you are already blessed,
Yeah, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. And we don't think about it so much, we just naturally just breathe, and we don't actually realize what a blessing it is.
It is so easy to take that for granted. And that's the difference between a person who has died and a person who's never died. You understand, wow, I'm still here. This is a huge vote of trust also from the other side. That you are here because you can handle this. You've got this. No matter what happens, no matter the heat waves and the droughts and whatever that's coming, we chose to be here now, and we can do this with grace.
Yeah, absolutely. Elma, I loved having our chat, and unfortunately we're going to run out of time. So
awesome. It was lovely to be with you.
I know. So nice to meet you, and I love the fact that you're all the way in South Africa and I'm in Australia, and we get to connect like this.
Other side of the world, but both in the south at least.
Yes. Yeah. So for our viewers, is there any advice or last words that you would like to share with our viewers before we end off?
Sure. I think I've probably basically said it all. In the end, just, I think gratitude is a huge thing that helps so much for us to notice everything that is good. And I don't mean to deny the difficulties. That's also very important, to embrace the pain very much. Never to judge it in yourself or in anybody else, but to allow the feelings so that you can move through the pain into the golden space again. And I'm very much into journaling, writing things down, and I do interactive journaling with God. I've done it my entire life with love, basically.
Yes, yeah.
And I write until I'm in a good space every day. Or some days, if I ever am not 100% in my center, I will resort to just writing and communicating with my higher self / God, creator, source, Mother Earth, whatever it is. I wouldn't even know what it is. I don't need to know.
Yeah.
Thank heavens. I just know there is this beautiful unconditional love that I can communicate with and that walks with me all the time.
Oh, I love that. I love that. What a beautiful way to end. And with that, I would like to just thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate you coming to, having the space to talk to me and talk to our viewers. And if anyone would like to get hold of Elma, if you have any questions, you can just come via myself. And just email me and I will pass on any messages to Elma. Thank you, Elma.
It was such an honor to be with you today and such a lovely connection. Bless you.
And you. Thank you for your story.